You know, every single statement you make, every fact you share, even the opinions you have, they all lean on one simple, powerful tool. It's literally the backbone of how we talk to each other, but most of us, well, we never even think about it. Today, we're going to break down the most essential building block of language, the declarative sentence.
In fact, you're using them constantly without even realizing it. Even right now, just thinking about what I'm saying, your brain is processing it using these simple statements. They're so fundamental, they make up pretty much everything we say and write in English. So, what's the official definition? Well, at its heart, a declarative sentence just makes a statement. Its one job is to declare something, whether that's a fact, a wish, an intention, or a feeling. It's the real workhorse of our language. But what does it really mean to make a statement? It sounds simple, right? But there are a few key rules that give these sentences all their power and structure. So let's dive in and break them down. It really just comes down to a simple three-part formula. First, it's got to start with a capital letter. Second, it has to end with a period, a full stop. And third, and this is the most important part, the sentence itself has to make a direct statement. That's the whole blueprint, right there. But hey, not all statements are created equal. They can be super simple with just one single idea, like Mark is eating chocolate. Or they can get a little more complex by linking a couple of ideas together, like Cyrus likes to play badminton, but he's not good at it. Both are perfect declarative sentences, just spelled a little differently. Okay, so we've got the rules for what a declaration is. Now let's sharpen that definition by looking at what it isn't. Sometimes the best way to see something clearly is to understand its boundaries. The main thing to remember is that its job is incredibly focused. It's only there to pass on information. It doesn't ask anything, it doesn't give a command, and it doesn't shout with emotion. It just informs. And this is where you can see the clear dividing lines. A declarative sentence, that's for stating information, period. The second you ask a question, give an order, or yell out a strong feeling, you've jumped into a completely different kind of sentence. Let's look at an example. Mark is eating chocolate. That's a simple statement. But if you ask, do you eat chicken feet? Now you're looking for an answer. That's a question. If you demand, give me my keys, you're giving a command. And if you shout, I hate chicken feet, well, that's an exclamation. The whole feeling and the punctuation changes for each one. All right, now inside this world of declarative sentences, things get even more interesting. They basically come in two distinct flavors: affirmative, which is positive, and negative. And the distinction is really simple. An affirmative sentence tells us what something is. It's a positive statement. A negative sentence, on the other hand, tells us what something is not. It usually does this by using a word like not or no. They're really just two sides of the same coin. A great example actually comes from mythology. The affirmative statement is, Odysseus was trapped. But look what happens with one tiny change, adding isn't. The meaning completely flips. Odysseus wasn't trapped. The whole reality of the statement just gets inverted. But here's the cool part. Making a negative statement isn't always about just sticking the word not in there. The English language has some more subtle, more elegant ways to get the job done. For example, instead of saying, Enlil was not satisfied, you can just use the word's direct opposite, its antonym. Enlil was dissatisfied. Just by swapping one word, the entire meaning is reversed. It's a really efficient way to make a negative statement. So, okay, we've covered the mechanics, right? The nuts and bolts of the grammar. But this is where it gets really important. Because mastering the declarative sentence isn't just about passing an English class. It's about how you communicate effectively. I mean, the range of what these sentences can do is just staggering. They can state a scientific fact. The Earth is the only habitable planet. They can share timeless wisdom. Pride leads to downfall. They can bust a myth. Sirens do not exist. Or they can even be a call to action. We must vote wisely. This is how we share pretty much all human knowledge and beliefs. And this really gets to the heart of why this all matters so much. This is where grammar becomes a tool for persuasion. Declarative sentences are the engine you use to build an argument. Every single time you present a fact or state your opinion, you're relying on this very structure to make your case. To put it as simply as possible, if you want to build a case, if you want to make a point, or if you want to convince someone of an idea, you have to master this type of sentence. They are the absolute non-negotiable building blocks of any solid argument. So, there you have it, the declarative sentence. It's simple in its form, but so powerful in what it can do.
You get the rules now, you've seen its power. So the only question left is, what statement are you going to make?